is a story about a woman who wasn't looking for anything extraordinary. She was just searching for love, real love, safe love, and unconditional love. But instead of being protected, she was violated by the very man who was supposed to protect her, her father. Instead of her finding comfort in friendship, she was betrayed in the worst way by someone she trusted. And when she thought she finally found her forever, built a home, had children, gave her heart completely, the man she called her husband walked away, choosing a life that left her questioning everything she thought she knew. Piece by piece, her world fell apart. The pain became unbearable. The silence became loud. And the question became, why me? Her story didn't end in pain. Her story didn't end in her trauma. She is still here, still standing, still breathing. And that means God is not finished. This is not just her story. This is a testimony of survival, healing, and love that never failed her, even when people did. I'm your girl, Dr. Tash, where pain speaks and purpose answer. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the TelaTash podcast. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in that little person. You have to believe for your kids. Hey guys, it's your girl, Dr. Tash, where pain speaks and purpose answer. I have an amazing guest today. She has a powerful story to tell you. She's a mom of 10 children. Unfortunately, one passed away. My condolences. And she's a visionary. She's an author of many books, and she's actually creating a children book as well with her daughter. So, without further ado, we have Angelia, guys. Hi, Angelia.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good, I'm good. I'm so honored that you found the courage and the strength and the peace because we sometimes need that closure, that peace, and that readiness for us to share story. And when you said I'm ready, I was like smiling from ear to ears. I was like, that's my girl. Let's go. Because I know I've come on your live many times and I just see you juggling so many things. You're cooking and you're entertaining and you're on the social media and you're on late nights. I don't even know your story. And I didn't want to know your story, but I said, I know you have a story. So before we get started, I just want you to, talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm doing this. None. But I have really been going through a healing journey and I felt that it was time. So I reached out to you. But I am the oldest of two, and I was born in Wisconsin. We moved to Michigan when I was about 5 years old after my mom and dad got divorced. They did get remarried at the age of 13. I was 13 at the time. Of course, me being who I was, I wanted that father in my life, but I didn't get that father in my life, even though he was physically there. He wasn't mentally or emotionally there. Instead, we dealt with mental abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and for myself, it was sexual abuse as well. And that in turn prompted me to have to go to foster care. So I was in foster care from the time I was about 13 and a half until right before I graduated high school. And that was an experience, definitely an experience. After that, I did move out on my own after I decided I did not want to deal with the abuse any longer. I remember packing a duffel bag, a diaper bag, and a suitcase and carrying my daughter out. Didn't know where I was going, but I knew I had to get away from there because I didn't want my daughter to have to go through what I had gone through. And I've been on my own ever since. It's also given me a drive. It's given me a drive to make things different for my friend.
Right.
But During that time, I've been divorced. I've lost a child. I've been raped, ended up having to get an abortion from the rape. So there's a lot of different things that people don't know.
Mm.
Um, but through it all, I feel like I can't stop. Giving up isn't an option. I don't care what is going on. One thing I always say is I'm not going to allow what I've been through, what I have gone through,
Define who you
or
are.
what I'm going through to find who I am, because at the end of the day, I'm still here. At the end of the day, I'm still pushing. That means I still have a purpose to fulfill. What that purpose is fully, do I understand? No, but I know I have a purpose. That's why God keeps allowing me to wake up every morning.
Amen. Amen. And that's a lot that you just unloaded. You raped, and then had to have an abortion because your predator actually gave you had a baby from your rapist.
And it's funny because I've never shared this. So this is the first time I've ever shared it. I've kept it to myself. The only person that knew was my friend who lived here in Michigan at the time. I was in Indiana, and she flew to Indiana to go with me to the clinic. I thought I was hanging with a friend, and it turned out that it wasn't a friend, and I was scared for my life pretty much. He would not let me leave. I ended up finding out I was pregnant, and it tormented me because I know that that's not how I was raised. But I also knew that in the end, I didn't want to bring something into this
Yeah.
world that was going to create and keep those memories in my head. So I battled with it for like 2.5 months. I was depressed. I shut myself away from everybody. And I finally decided to do it. But still, after that, people don't understand the aftermath of getting an abortion. It's not as easy
Of
as we think
course.
it is. People think, oh, you're just going to get rid of it. No, you deal with a lot of mental when
Yes,
you do that,
yes.
when you go that route. So,
Your friend, can you just kind of set the setting of how you and your friend, how you guys met up, where were you, and what happened that night or that day?
well, it was supposed to be a gathering with a bunch of people. When I got there, it was just me. He kept saying that they were on their way, they were coming, whatever the case may be. And then he barricaded the door. And even when I tried to leave, he pretty much threatened me.
Did he have like a weapon when he
Yeah,
threatened you?
yeah. And at that point, I was told to go sit in the bedroom. What else was I going to do? I had nothing on me, no weapon, no nothing. So I ended up staying there probably about 5.5, 6 hours. And then finally, when he fell asleep, I snuck out and went home.
Wow. Did you report it or tell your parents or anybody?
No, I was in Indiana by myself with my kids. So what I did do is I did end up moving so that he did not know where I lived at.
And how old were you at that time?
I was in my 30s.
Okay. What did you feel like you could have done differently?
I don't know if I could have done anything differently. The only thing that I can say I could have done differently is just not went. Just knowing my surroundings, reading people, learning how to read people, learning how to discern if it's somebody I should be connected with. That's why I'm very intentional with my connections now. I also notice, and people will say this all the time, why do you always have a wall up? Because I have to make sure there are no ulterior motives. I have to make sure that I am protected mentally and physically. And so if I see any inkling of anything that I feel is going to hurt me in any way, I will pull back. At the time, I was trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, give people chances. And I still do to a certain extent, but now I'm very much aware of who I'm connecting with now. I'm just not connecting myself with anyone spiritually, mentally, or physically, or socially. Even on the social websites, there's just certain rooms I don't go in. There's just certain lives I will not attend because there's certain triggers that come with those. And people don't understand that. It's not all about who you're hanging around
Yeah.
physically. Who are you allowing in your mental? Who are you allowing to
Yeah.
mess with your spirituality? Who are you allowing to physically be around you? It's a tie of all three of those things.
Yeah. And it plays with your mental health.
Mhm.
It plays with mental health. I feel like as much as you can try to brush it under the rug or you can try to ignore it, that feeling, sometime a smell or, just a sound will trigger it. Have you seen or spoke to like a therapist?
I did decide to get therapy when COVID-19 started. I finally realized I needed to get therapy. I've always had an issue with sleeping, but as I've gotten older and just in the last 6 months, I realized, Angelia, you have this problem with sleeping because typically anything that happens to you is happening at nighttime. Anything that you have traumatically experienced has happened during the night. When my father molested me, it was at night while I was sitting down watching TV. When I got raped, it was at night when probably should have been at home. When my daughter passed away, it was at night. When I got all these things tie in together, and I'm just like, maybe that's why even now, my daughters are about to be 13 this month. I still cannot sleep knowing that they're in the room. I have to check on them, make sure they're breathing, make sure they're
Mm,
okay. My 20-year-old son, he's currently living with me, but getting ready to move out on his own. But I tell him, don't turn off your location. I need to know where you're at. I need to
yeah.
know. So it's just a matter of, I don't know. I don't sleep. I'm one of the people that can go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and get up at 6. 2 hours is enough for me to get enough sleep. But I feel like if I sleep, something bad's gonna happen. So I stay
Mhm.
awake.
I get it now. I get it why you're always up late on, TikTok. Oh, I get it. I get it. So, because you're wide awake, you're
Hmm.
like on guard at all
Yep.
time. You just need that little nap, but you're not really fueling your body properly. You're not getting the proper rest that we require as human. You mentioned your father molested you. Take me back to that. And when
You
was the
said I
first
wasn't gonna
time?
cry on your thing today. So as a little girl, I know my mom, like I said, my mom and dad got divorced when I was 5. She decided to move to Michigan, and I resented her for that for a long time. I was so angry with her to the point where I would go days and be in the house and wouldn't talk to her because I'd be like, "Why'd you leave my dad? I want my dad here." And I would see all the other little girls with their dads, and I'd be like, "I want that relationship." To the point where we would have dinner at the table and I would literally set a space for him at the table and be like, nobody can sit here. This is dad's spot. This is dad's spot. So when they finally told us that they were getting remarried, I was happy. I was so excited, like ecstatic. Like, oh my God, I'm finally going to get this father that I've always wanted, that I've
Mhm.
always wished for, only for him to come back. And it was like hell on wheels. It was like, the minute he came back, everything changed. Walking on eggshells. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't talk. We couldn't breathe. We couldn't do anything to the point where he would like beat my brother to a pulp. Blood vessels busted in his eyes. Had my brother scared up under the bed. I just remember the night that I was sitting downstairs watching TV. Everybody had went to bed. And the day before that, I guess my brother and I had did something to make him mad, and he got an extension cord and he like beat the pulp out of us. And then the dog tried to attack him and he whooped the dog too with the extension cord. But that night I couldn't sleep. So I went downstairs and I was sitting on the floor in front of the TV. And I remember him sitting down next to me and his hand started going up my gown. And in that moment, I was like, what do I do? This is the man that's supposed to love me, but I don't want this kind of love from him. What am I supposed to do? So the next morning, I told my mom, and she was like, you're just wanting attention. That didn't happen. And so I went about my day, went to school. I went back to school. During that time, we had gym. I was in high school, ninth grade, and we had to get undressed. And I guess my gym teacher saw the cuts and bruises on my back. And when I came into the gym after I got undressed, she was like, hey, Angelia, the principal wants to see you in her office. And I said, okay, did I do something? Am I in trouble? I got to the office and I remember there was a lady in a skirt suit with a briefcase, and she was like, hi, I'm from CPS. We just have a few questions for you. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Because I'm still not putting two and two together that my gym teacher has reported this. And she started saying, do you mind if we take a look at you? And I said, for what? And they lifted up my shirt and saw my back and asked me who did it. And we had this long interview, and that's how everything came out. And she was like, unfortunately, I have to tell you, you're not going to be able to go back home. So instantly I was pulled from school and taken to foster care. Not seeing my mom, my dad, my brother, anybody, just taken straight from school to foster care.
This saddens me. It really saddens me to know that your father was touching you. You had the courage to say something to your mother, and you were totally ignored. That's not okay.
And to put it out there, eventually me and my mother and I did have a talk. I think I was in my late 20s. And she was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
She was like,
I don't think
I'm
she
sorry.
processed it.
Yeah, at the time it was me in middle school being my adolescent self. And she was just
Yeah.
like, I just didn't know. She said, I wish I had have listened. She said, but I can't go back in the past, but all I can do is say I'm sorry.
Yeah. When your father was putting his hands underneath your garment, what was going through your head?
Well, he definitely touched me where he shouldn't have touched me. In my head, I don't know, I was just shocked because it was like, is this the kind of love I'm supposed to get? Like, I was so confused because as much as I wanted my father there and I wanted him to love me, I just knew that wasn't the right kind of love that I was supposed to be getting from my father.
Yeah. And was that the first time and the only time that he did that?
The first time it was just him being funny and like he would touch my breast or he would do something, just the little things like that. But that night he actually went to the extreme.
When you reported to your mom and you went to school, now ACS was involved because they saw some scars on you.
Mhm.
Now you're taken to foster home. How was that like?
So initially, I was taken to foster care, and they told me as long as your mother attends the parenting classes, you can go back home. Only to find out she refused to do the parenting classes. So the first foster home that I was taken to, it was an older white couple. I was the only black child in there, and I was treated like the only black child in there. I think I lasted there probably about 3 weeks. And then I had to get my big black trash bag and put all my belongings in there and go to the next foster home.
So, so just so that we all understand how foster home works, why are you leaving within 3 weeks?
It's not a
That was
permanent
the
resident,
contract?
however, it was, they didn't think I was a good fit
Okay,
for their home.
got it.
So they took me to I was in four foster, one, two, three, four foster homes.
So now you packed your black bag.
Hmm. And I go to the next one. The next one wasn't any better. It was a single white lady. She had three foster kids already, and then she had her biological son, who was younger than me. Pretty much, we were like her maids. She stayed in her room. We cleaned, we cooked, pretty much served her. I do remember one incident where we did have some free time and we were in the basement playing with the Ouija board, which my mom would totally flip out about. And on that Ouija board, I remember everybody was asking it questions and it was moving around. I didn't think it was real, but for some reason, it kept turning and pointing to me. And I was like, why does this thing keep pointing to me? And then something happened where I had to get up. And the minute I got up, the thing flew off the board and hit the mirror behind me and crashed the whole mirror. And I was like, okay, I'm done with the Ouija board. We're not messing with this no more. So I'm sure it's since that my mom or somebody was praying for me or whatever it is. I just didn't think it was real. But that foster home, I mean, it stunk. It was dirty. I didn't have my own room like I did when I was at home. It was like a Cinderella moment for me, but not the Cinderella in the gown.
So when they place you in these foster home, are the caseworkers doing a run through in these homes?
They just pretty much stopped at the door, told me this was where I was going to be staying, introduced me to her, and took some intake questions and left.
How long did you last in that home?
I was in there probably about 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 months.
And this time you was in high school, right? Were you still going to school?
I was still going to school.
The same school?
hmm
Okay. Did you have a mentor at that time, like in the school to talk to? The
No,
teachers, did anybody approach you or, you know,
I didn't have anybody. I was by myself. People say they feel by themselves. I was literally by myself. And I was mentally just like, I became very angry. I was fighting at the drop of a dime with everybody. I think just in that first year, I got in like 7 fights in school. One included the principal. Like I fought everybody. I didn't care who you
you
were.
was
Felt like I was
angry?
by myself, so I had to defend myself. I had to
Yeah,
protect myself.
you was angry. You was
hmm
angry. You had the right to be angry. And it's unfortunate that not a teacher, not a principal, not a counselor counseled you and they know you in foster care?
I'm sure they did because the principal is the one that
Of
called me down.
course.
So
They the one who reported it. So you was taken away from your family and it's like they had no remorse after that. Do they know the impact, the mental load that you're taking on as a young adult?
Mhm.
Your mother's not around, your father's not around, no security.
None.
What made you say, I will not give up?
I honestly don't know. At first, it was my kids, but then I realized I can't just do it for them. I have to do it for myself. When I started going through my healing journey, is when I realized that I did have value. When I started realizing that I did hold value about a year and a half ago, is when I finally said, I got to keep fighting. I've tried committing suicide twice. Mm, The most recent was in my girls are about to be 13, so they were about 7. We moved back here to Michigan from Indiana. At the time, we had to move back with my mom because I'm coming back with no job, no nothing. And I remember laying in the bed. My daughters were laying next to me, and I was writing a letter while my mom was in the room across the hall, writing a letter to let them know that I felt like everybody would be better. I I tried to cover it up with drinking, I tried to cover it up with smoking, but I was just angry and hurt because I felt like I was still by myself, even though I had people physically around me. I was by myself.
I'm so sorry you went through this. This is something very, I'm so hurt because the system failed you as a young girl. The system failed you. It's one thing that they were trying to protect you initially because they saw bruises on your back. It's another that no one followed up and asked how you was doing. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? The system failed you. Just life. So when you attempted to unalive yourself, I know you said you was taking alcohol and drugs and you wrote a letter. What went about it?
So that was the last time. It's funny because right when I was getting ready to fold the letter up, I got a phone call from somebody from my church. And she just started saying, yeah, I don't know why, but you were on my mind. I was just calling to encourage you, and she just pretty much told me I can't give up. I didn't share it with her until probably last year, what she did that night.
She
Nobody but
saved
God. That was nobody but God.
she saved you. What did you do with that letter?
I threw it away.
And how many kids did you have at that time?
All my kids, my babies who were about to be 13 were 7 at the time.
You have three set of twins?
Mhm. 3 sets.
Three
Definitely was
set
not planned. I
of
actually was
twins.
on birth control all 3 times. I was on the pill with the first set of twins, but I didn't find out I was having twins until 4 weeks before I delivered them. All I knew was that I was having a little girl. I got rushed to the hospital and they were like, "You hear 2 heartbeats." I said, "Yeah, mine and the baby's." And she was like, "No, we hear 2 heartbeats." And that's when I found out I was having a boy. And 4 weeks later, I delivered them. My second set, I was on the depot. And then the third set, I was on the Marina. With my now 23-year-old, my ex-husband actually got a vasectomy and I still got pregnant. So it was definitely meant for me to have these babies. I don't know why, but it definitely was meant.
Not a vasectomy and still got pregnant.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, God sent you all them babies.
Yes, he did.
God sent you them babies for a reason to save you. Those babies is the one that's keeping you alive.
Yeah.
They're the one that's keeping you going. That's why he gave you them. Wow. You was on birth control. He had a vasectomy and still wind up with three sets of twins.
Yes. Yes.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
All the
Wow.
time. That's why I say, you want to make me laugh? Tell me your plans, and I'm gonna show you better than
I'm
I can
sure.
tell.
Wow. God has such a sense of humor. Like,
Mhm.
we have no idea as much as we try to orchestrate and, like you said, plan our life. We can't. There's no way that we can even write the script better than the Lord Himself. Our God, He knows exactly what we need when we need it, even when we don't understand it and when we can't see it. It's like, no, he's protecting you. He got you. He got you. You may have thought that he forgotten you. He got you. Wow. That was your test to your testimony. You have a testimony. That's why you're writing. That's why you're an author. You have something to birth out into those books to speak on in so many dimensions, so many ways. You talking about molestation, rape, child abuse, being on drugs and trying to, depression as a young lady. That's a lot. Who don't want to unalive themselves going through that? Who would not have those imagination with no help, no care, no one to lean on? That's insane. But you had that faith. You had faith. You knew you had something in you to birth. You knew. That's why you couldn't go forth with it either. Because you know you have a mission to accomplish. And it's still birthing. It's still going. You have something that you have to share with the world. Have to share it with the world. Yeah.
I believe that too. And
Yeah.
I'm now coming to the realization because if you had asked me a year ago, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing that as much as I may have thought that I'm not helping people.
Mm,
I've had
why?
people, like, even for Mother's Day, I had somebody I met on TikTok send me a bouquet of flowers
Mm,
out of the blue. Like, my son brought it in, said somebody knocked at the door, and I said, "Who sent this? I don't know where this came from." And I get a text, "Did you get your flowers?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And she just
wow.
wrote me this long text about how much I've encouraged her, how much she has seen that there are really genuine people in this world. And all I'm
Yeah.
doing is being myself.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. No, being yourself is what people need. People need authenticity. Like, I don't even know how to express how they need authentic. They need transparency. They need someone to be straightforward. No sugarcoating, no gray area. You're paving the way for so many women out here that's battling depression and suicidal thoughts and all these abuse. You're paving the way. Unfortunately, you had to go through what you went through, but you're paving the way because God would not give you more than you can handle.
Mm. How
He
come
would.
he think I can handle all this stuff?
Yeah.
A lot. It's a lot.
How's your relationship with your father?
So after writing my first book, I wrote a book called Look at Me Now, which is when I decided that I really needed to go through therapy.
Yeah.
I literally had just submitted the book for publishing, and we were sitting in the house. It was during COVID-19. And I remember telling my son, "Who is out there honking that horn like that? Like, what is going on? See who that is." Because it's starting to irritate me. I was getting upset. Like, who is out there doing
Yeah.
this? And my son went outside and he came back in and he said, "Mom, I think that's your dad outside." I said, "My what?" I said, "Why is he here?" Because there's been plenty of times he's come to me and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "I don't know why you're being hunky dory happy with me because we're not there."
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've never been someone that's been fake. If I'm not
Yes.
dealing with you, I'm not dealing with you. And he said, "Yeah, he wants you to come outside." And so I went to the car and he had a face full of tears. And he just was like, I battled if I should come here or not. I remember him listing out the things that he had done and just saying how sorry he was and how he wished he could go back and change things. And at that moment, I was like, okay, this is the puzzle that I've been looking for. And I was like, okay, this is the piece I was looking for. I was like, this is what I needed. And I tried. I really tried to reconcile with him. I tried my hardest. He had an incident that happened last year where he had to have a power of attorney. Now, outside of myself and my brother, he has three other children. Two are older than me and one is younger than me. So I'm technically the middle child,
Mm-hmm.
but none of them wanted anything to do with him. Not one of his kids want anything to do with him. Of course, my brother and my older brother have seen a lot more than I have. My older sister has cut the whole entire family off. Like, I don't think I've talked to her since I was like 2 or 3. My younger sister was his baby. That was who he could always go to, but he basically beat her to a pulp about 2 years ago and left her for dead. So I was the last resort. So I was like, you know what? I know he's trying to turn a new leaf. Let me just go ahead and do this for him. But I eventually, within about 6 months, had to completely cut him off. And I had to tell them, you need to give power of attorney to,
Someone else.
because I can't do it. Because one thing I'm not going to allow you to do is make me go back in time and become that 13-year-old girl again.
Mm-hmm.
Have to protect my peace. I can't allow you to do this, and I can't allow my children to witness this. And that's my priority. My children are my
Yes.
priority. When you can call my phone and call me out my name and tell me how much you hate me, and I'm sitting here doing everything that I can for you, when no one else is standing in the gap, I need to let it go. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you. If something was to happen to him right now, I'm not sure I would even shed a tear. I don't hate him. I still love him as my father. I have forgiven him, but that father-daughter relationship is not there, and I don't want it because
Mm-hmm.
I've given chance after chance. My friend has a clothing line that says 70 times 7, and I wear that. And I believe that you need to forgive all the time. It's an unlimited amount of times you need to forgive. But I also know that I have to protect my peace. I also know that I have to be wise. Just because I forgive you does not mean I have to be in cohorts with you. Just because I forgive you does not mean that we have to be buddy buddy. So at this point, I love you from a distance, but I can't allow you in my space.
If your father would pass away tomorrow, would you go to the funeral?
I don't know. Part of me says yes for closure's sake, and part of me says no. Why?
Has he remarried
No.
or has anybody? No.
After him and my mom got remarried, they actually got divorced because he cheated on my mom the first time. And that's how I ended up with my little sister. But after they got remarried, he did the same exact thing. And I remember telling my mom, Mom, just leave him, let him go. You don't need him. And she was like, Well, I have to wait for God to tell me, and I have to wait. I said, You would rather accept all this abuse than to just be like, I need to go. But she finally said, Okay, I'm done. And she left again. So they've been married and divorced twice.
Wow. Did he physically abuse your mom as well?
I only seen one time. That's the one time that I actually got in a physical fight with him because I was not going to sit back and watch that happen. I remember she was fixing dinner, and my brother and I would sit in the kitchen with her because that was the only safe place that we could go without getting abused or mistreated. So we stayed far away from him as possible. If she was in the kitchen, we were in the kitchen. If she was in the bedroom, we were in the bedroom. If she was in the bathroom, we were sitting at the door. Like we made sure we stayed nearby each other. But I remember he had an issue and he told her, Tell these kids to
Wait,
get out the
so if you
kitchen.
guys stay stuck together, he wouldn't abuse you guys?
No, my brother, he knew that I would fight him. My brother wasn't a fighter. So as long as my brother stayed with me, he wouldn't mess with him. So that's why typically the things that would happen to my brother was at nighttime when I was asleep.
Got it.
He would actually put him in the car, drive him out to the woods, beat the pulp out of him. He'd come back with blood all over his t-shirt, bloody nose, bloody eyes, and we wouldn't know anything until the morning time. So my brother felt like if he stayed with me, he would be safe. But of course, we had separate bedrooms. So even if he came in from school and I wasn't there, my brother would go hide under the bed until I got home or until my mom got home. So he did more physical abuse to my brother than he did to myself or my mom.
Why was that?
I don't know. I really can't answer that. He was verbally abusive to my mom and to all of us, but mainly to my mom. He was physically abusive to my brother. He was physically abusive to me as well, but not as much as he was to my brother. And he was sexually abusive to me.
How is your brother now?
I remember we used to play and we used to laugh, and I could get him to do anything I wanted him to do. Now he's just so angry. He's so angry, and it's like, you gotta let it go. You can't stay like this. Even though I know you might be hurt, I know it might have traumatized you, but you gotta let it go because now you're affecting your boys, you're affecting your wife. Me and my brother actually went, let me see, the girls, they were about 5. That's the last time we talked, and we reconciled this year. I have not talked to my brother until this year. I ended up going to North Carolina about 4 weeks ago, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I didn't know what was going to happen because I know we had not talked in years. Whereas we used to be super close, like talk every day, get together, have dinner, the whole nine. But we actually reconciled. And that was the best part of the trip. It was nice being able to be in a different state and see different things. But the best part of that trip was that me and my brother reconciled. And now it's the point where he's like, okay, when are you and the girls coming back? We want to see you. You don't have to stay in a hotel. You can come stay here. And it was so funny because when he invited us for dinner, everybody was on like pins and needles, like, what is about to happen? Because they know we're both like very dominant people. And they was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but we're about to be ready for whatever's about to happen. But to their surprise, it was not the way they thought it was going to turn out. And so that was one of the good things that happened to me this year is we actually finally reconciled after like 12, 7 years, 8 years.
Wow.
But he's so
What
angry with
caused the distance or the discord between you and
I
your
still
brother?
don't understand what caused it. I just know that his whole characteristics changed after what he dealt with my father.
Do you know if he ever got any help? So he created another family, correct? You say he's married with kids.
Mhm.
He's dealing with a lot.
Yeah, he is. And I feel bad for him because I've only seen pieces of what he had to deal with. I feel bad because I understand why he's so angry.
Yeah.
I do. But at some point, we got to let it go because what happens is we start trickling that down to our children
Yeah.
and to those that really care about us and those that are around us. And that's what I realized I was doing. I would wake up in the morning yelling and go to bed yelling. I would wake up fussing, go
Yeah.
to bed fussing. And I realized that I was causing my kids more damage than I was helping them.
And you said you're divorced as well?
I am.
Okay.
So, for starters, there is a such thing as marrying the wrong person. If somebody's not destined to be your husband, you can't force something because it won't work. I knew I wasn't supposed to marry him, but because I was so needy for love and attention, I accepted the first man that said, "Oh, I want to marry you." He wasn't ready for marriage. I wasn't ready for marriage. I was 21. I had two children already. I should have known when I met him on April Fool's Day that that was a sign right there. I wanted to experience unconditional
Love,
love. I wanted to
family.
experience a healthy marriage. I wanted to experience having someone in my corner, a best friend, all that. But that wasn't my experience. I was cheated on, I was lied to, you name it. But I took it because I felt this is what I was supposed to take. This is what I saw my mom take. So this must be what love is. This must be what I have to deal with. This must be what I deserve. But I think the last straw was I remember I was at home sleeping once again, received a phone call and a text, and the phone call said, "Look at your phone." And I opened up my phone and there were pictures of my husband with another man.
Okay. You just keep
When I tell you,
you just keep crashing the car into into the wall, off the cliff, in the bridge. Like,
so at that point, I knew that was it. I was done. It's not okay to cheat, period. But then to go off and do something like that, I was like, it's time to go. I can't keep putting
you
myself
had
through this
no
hurt.
clue that he was homosexual,
None. None.
no inkling.
And I remember his family used to make jokes and say little things, and I'd be like, whatever, stop playing like that.
What
Um,
jokes did they make?
they would call him the gay boy, or they would be like, "Oh, he hanging around such and such. He's the bottom or whatever." They just say little things like that, and I'd be like, "Y'all stop playing like that." I mean, we're married. He has four kids with me, about to be five. Stop playing. Yeah. So at that point, I was just like, I called his mom. I need to come get your son and all of his belongings because I'm done. And honestly, me and his mother didn't get along. I used to tell her all the time, well, since you act like you're in a relationship with him, now you
Yeah,
can
you
have
can
him.
have him. Absolutely. I'm glad you did that because a lot of mothers who has raised their sons think that they're the first woman
Mhm.
in their son's life. Once your son is married, you are
They
not the
become
first
one.
one.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It's good to have that mother figure, that leader to show him the right way, the right things to do, but you should not be competing with his wife. There's no comparison. There's no competition.
None.
You're his mother, and you will always be his mother. Sometimes you just feel like you don't want to lose your son, but you're not the one sleeping with him. You're not the one who have to wake up, cook, and clean after these big boys.
Exactly.
Let them go. Let them go. And there are a lot of boys out here, they're so conflicted between the mom or the wife. Why
It's
are you
true.
conflicted? It's like, who sits in the front seat? For me, I wouldn't mind if your mom sit in the front seat. I don't have a problem with that. But
Right.
it depends. I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. If the
I think people forget that when you take vows like that, you're taking them not just before the people that are at your wedding or at your ceremony, you're taking them before God.
Yeah.
And the Bible literally says you become one. So
Hmm.
therefore, putting everybody else aside,
Yes.
your significant other is that one.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. And for him, it's very disgusting to know that you know what you are, you know what you like, and which is fine. We're not taking that away from you. You can be whatever you want to be, but why drag you in it?
Exactly.
To even have kids with you, knowing that you didn't even want that probably. Why
Facts.
drag you? And that's why you were still trying to search for that love and you still couldn't figure it out. You couldn't put your finger on it. You were seeking love, you're trying to find it, trying to get it, and there wasn't.
Exactly.
There wasn't. And again, you're let down. That little girl who want love still couldn't find it and still searching for it. That unconditional love. Like, love me for me, not for what I can do for you, for me. Wow. Young women, young girls out here have to hear your story. We have to stop settling as women for the crumbs, the breadcrumbs that they're just dropping and think it's okay and it's enough.
Exactly. You have
We
to know
as
your value.
women, we have to know our value. We have to know our worth. We have to start building our self esteem. We have to look into ourself first. Build your mind first. Your heart.
I had a guy ask me yesterday, and it was so funny. He said, who do you love more, me or you? I said, I love myself more. And he said, well, that was the wrong answer. I said, absolutely not. I said, because until I love myself correctly and
How can I love
completely,
someone
how
else?
can I love anyone else correctly? I have to make sure I know that I love me for who I
Also,
am. And I couldn't say that a year ago, but I love me. I love who I am. I may not be like everybody else, but I love where I am. I love
yeah,
what I've become. I love the successes that I've had. I love the mistakes that I've made because
yes,
it's made me who I am. I
yes,
love me. And I'm never going to love anybody more than I
yeah.
love myself because that was the issue. I loved everybody else more than I loved me, and that's why I settled. I loved everybody else more than I loved me, and that's why I created these
Mom,
different monsters in my head because I didn't love me. I did all this and went through a lot of the things I went through because I loved everybody else more than I loved me. I put myself on a back burner while I took care of everybody else, not realizing that if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody else. I cannot pour from an empty cup. And that's what I was trying to do.
and nobody was pouring into your cup, but you was pouring into everyone's cup,
Yep.
filling everyone. You was the only one that was left thirsty.
Yep.
That's wild. And this is what's happening in society today. Young girls are getting gaslight. looking and seeking for that love. Those who don't have a father figure, a mentor, a leader.
And thinking that that physicality is love, and it's not. It's not. And that's where I went wrong. I was like, well, he loves me because he makes me feel good. He does this. No, that's not it. That's just a physical attraction, an infatuation, nothing more, nothing less. When you find true love and you have true love, you will know it. You will know it.
Yeah. Love doesn't require you to tell someone how to treat you. They will know how to
Mhm.
treat you. They will know. I don't have to tell you, take me out to dinner. I don't have to tell you to help me with my vision. I don't have to tell you to, just to love me or to rub my foot. If you saw me limping, wouldn't you think you would just rub my foot or send me to a massage parlor? That mean you care for me.
Mhm.
I mean you love me. You don't want to see me hurt. You
Exactly.
don't want to see me depleted. You don't want to see me like I'm shrinking. It's like we're shrinking before these men for breadcrumb
And
and
not
we're
even getting full.
hurting,
Still hungry,
still
but we're
hungry,
settling for the breadcrumbs instead of the full course meal.
hungry. I had a girl who said she stayed with her partner because she just wanted to prove her family wrong, but she knew it wasn't the right thing to do. And she was so empty. Many of us, that's what we want to do. We stay into these marriage because we want to prove society wrong, your family wrong, the naysayer wrong, social media wrong. And you are negotiating your peace,
Your peace, your character, your mental.
your integrity. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Peace comes first.
Yep. And even now, people ask me, well, do you want to get married again? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to know what it's like to be in a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
And they're telling me you're crazy. No, I want to know what it's like to be in a healthy marriage.
Yes.
And you want to know why I'm ready for
Yes.
that now?
Yes.
Because I decided to take time for myself,
You
love
did the
myself,
work.
learn myself, heal myself, and do the work to really dig deep and get to the root of my issues. See, I've been in four relationships in my whole entire life. I've never been single.
Mm.
Never have I been single. It was break up with one person, go to the next.
Next.
Break up with one
Yeah.
person, go to the next. And then I got married.
Yeah.
So it was like, when am I going to stop and say, okay, let's work on me. Let's
Mm.
fix me. Let's build me up so that when that right man comes, when it's time, I'm ready for him.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So there are times when I'd be like, okay, I don't like being single. But guess what? I love my single life. I can do as I want, leave as I want, come as I want, don't have to answer to nobody. But I know when that time comes and it's time for me to get in a relationship and settle down, I'm going to be ready because
Yeah.
now I've learned how to love myself. I've learned what I like and what I don't like. I learned the things that I needed to work on, that I needed to build up because there was things I was carrying from other relationships into these other relationships, which was why I was having a lot of the issues I was having, starting with my father. I carried that hurt into
Yeah.
my very first relationship, and that carried over into the next three relationships because I wasn't willing to forgive, because I wasn't willing to let go, because I was still holding on to my past. I was still hurt. I was still angry. I was still bitter. But until I realized, okay, I can't go by what my mom used to always say, what goes on in this house stays in this house, or stay in a child's place, or you only speak when spoken to. I had to release that stuff. I had been holding
Oof.
on to that stuff from the time I was 12, 13 years old up until I was almost 40. You don't think I had a lot of built up anger? And I was sitting here trying to characterize it like, oh, I'm just going to drink and cover it up. I'm going to smoke a little weed and cover it up. That only lasts for so long. I had to finally say, I need to go get therapy. And it took the therapist a couple of times to get through to me because I would go and I'd be like, I know I need therapy. I really don't want to share with you right now. I think it was about 6 times. After the 6 times was when I finally opened up to her. And that's because I had a rough week and I finally just let it all out. And I'm still in a worker process and I work daily. I always say this: we are working to become a better version of ourselves today, which means right now in the present, than we were yesterday, last week, last month, last year, to become the best version of ourselves tomorrow. That's our future. And that's what I strive for every day. I know I don't get it right every day. I know I'm not perfect. I know I still make mistakes and I'm still learning. I'm never too old to learn, but I'm striving to be a better version of myself every day.
Have you found your purpose in this season?
In this season, I realized that my purpose is to help other people understand their story and understand that their story is a testimony and to be okay with speaking about their story, speaking about their life, speaking their testimony out because you never know who might need to hear what you've been through. Somebody might be dealing with that same exact thing. And I just realized this in the last couple of weeks, like literally. And it's funny you asked that because I said, I never understood my purpose. But I'm understanding now, the more that I go on these lives, the more that I do these lives, that it's important for me to share my story and not be ashamed because it's making other people want to say, I need to share mine. I want to write a book about my story. I want to write a book about my life. I know people are going to get help. And that's what I know my purpose is right now. I know that at first I was scared about being judged. I was scared about a lot of different things. Hence the reason why when you asked me initially, I was like, oh no, I'm not getting on there and doing that. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. But I realized that by me stepping out, by me sharing my story, it's giving other people the courage and faith to share theirs as well.
Amen. Thank you, Angela, for sharing your story. You have a powerful story, and I do think you have a voice to heal others and to allow people to see through you that if you overcame it, they can too. And to not allow their past to define who they are or to dictate their future as well. I'm glad you're writing the book. I think you need to do like podcasting. I think you need to do
Somebody else said that.
speaking engagements. This is not something that you keep putting on a back burner. Just press play, record podcasts, Spotify, whatever, YouTube, do it. People will listen, even if it's that one person. Me, I don't care. Even if it's that one person. I don't allow popularity dictate my purpose. That's not what we're here for. But that one story, that young lady who came on my podcast, the last one, and she said she got kidnapped, she got raped, she was in cocaine, she used cocaine and stuff. You know how many people it touched? Do you know
Mhm.
how many people came out to me, said, I want to record? I dealt with that. And I'm like, dealt with what? You dealt with that too? And it blows my mind how many of us have that same story. And we're walking around here with a smile on our face, acting like everything is normal. It's not normal. And it's eating us up when we keeping it to ourselves and staying silent. But when you come to terms and at peace, like you have, and you're ready now to share, you're not going to be ashamed. You're not going to feel guilty. You're on go mode. You're on go mode. So this is the time and the season. Do the podcast. You talk now anyway on your live. Why not? Go to different speaking engagement, different schools, talk to young teens, Talk to the young ladies. Why not? You have it in you. Don't stop here. You have it in you. So, just as a closing, what would you like to tell young girls and young boys and mothers? What would you like to share for a final closing?
So initially, when I started writing my books, my goal was to reach women until I had that first man reach out to me and say he read my book and it helped him share his story. To every man, every woman, every boy, every girl,
Mm.
no matter your age, your race, your ethnicity, know that you are enough. Never allow anybody to make you dim your light, no matter what. You have value, you have worth. And although a lot of people may not see it, God made you in his image and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He doesn't make mistakes. Regardless of how you may feel, what you may have been through, God has a purpose for you. But you have to walk in that purpose and on the path that he has for you and not try and do it on your own.
Amen. I want to pray with you before we close. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think of. And there's a song, I'm not a singer, but I do sing because I like to sing. But God is able to do just what he says he will do. He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. Don't give up on God, 'cause he won't give up on you. He's able. Don't give up on God. He's able. He's able. God, thank you. Thank you for allowing Angelia to share her story. Thank you for allowing her to be healed from the inside out. Thank you for covering her. Thank you for not allowing her to unalive herself. Thank you for providing her with grace, grace that surpasses all understanding. Thank you, my God, for favor. Thank you, my God, for your infinite grace, your infinite mercy, your infinite peace, my God. Thank you, Father. Even when we don't see it and trace it, we know that you are protecting her and her children, my God. Protect her mind, my God. Protect her heart, my God. Allow her to put pen to paper, my God. Allow her to speak the words that you got in her heart, my God, so that she can heal others, my God, because she is the vessel. She is the vessel, because, my God, you made way for her, and she will make way for others. So we thank you, my God. Bind any suicidal thoughts, bind any suppression or depression over her life. Allow her to feel secure and safe in the space and the season she's in now. We thank you, Father. Give her everything that her heart desire so that she can feel whole again. Whole with you, whole with her children, whole at work, whole in her home. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Guys, there you have it. Angelia, who shared her story about being a young woman, being molested, being raped, being on drugs or on alcohol because she just wanted to suppress the pain that she was going through, had no one to turn to. But the one thing that she had was her faith in God. And she stayed steadfast and encouraged and still pressed on and never gave up and still continued to go and had that faith of a mustard seed. So now she's paving the way, not just for young boys, but for young girls as well. Not just for men, but also for women. Listen to your children when they're talking to you. Listen to that little girl or that little boy when they say, Mom, something happened to me. Don't allow them to feel ashamed or guilty. Listen to the teachers out there, to the counselors out there. You're not just a teacher, you're not just a counselor, but you're also that go to person that a young girl or boy may need to talk to, that safe space. Be that eyes and be that ears for that young adult, for that child. They need you. We need you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for sharing your story, for sharing that story, because I need it as well. To even look at the signs and when you have children, to look for those signs that your children may be feeling some way and you're trying to understand why the shift, why the change. Even when they don't even want to talk to you or tell you what happened. But at least we'll know the signs. We'll know to have that conversation, even though sometimes it could be a hard pill to swallow. Thank you. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below if you like what you heard today. Thank you for always being a TelaTash supporter. I'm your girl, Dr. Tash, where pain speaks and purpose answer. We see you soon. Bye. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in that little person. You have to believe for your kids.